Welcome to Unchained here on Pahrump News. I'm your host, Deanna O'Donnell. Hope you're doing good today. Well, we've got a couple really good events happening. Of course, we celebrated Earth Day this past week, and we have the 20th anniversary of Desert View Hospital coming up on Saturday. Everyone's invited to celebrate during that event, which will be, of course, at Desert View Hospital there at 360 Lola Lane. Of course, we have the neighborhood cleanup, and I'm going to tell you about that in a couple minutes. But the Moose Lodge has their Kiss a Pig competition, and congratulations to Bill Dolan for winning that competition. So many people joined and were able to donate money to wonderful nonprofits around town. And so if you would like to go to that celebration, you can go to that. It starts at 4 p.m. at the Moose Lodge, and everyone is invited to come on down, have a wonderful spaghetti dinner down there, and go to that fundraiser, see all the checks being handed out, and watch Bill Dolan kiss a pig. And thanks so much to Shannon Arimura for putting that on. It was so much fun. We also want to talk about the neighborhood cleanup, and that is a cleanup that we are doing here on Saturday. We're going to be having it from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. We're going to meet at the Bob Roode Community Center right there in the parking lot next to the marquee. And everybody who would like to join to clean up a little bit of our town is invited to come on down. I especially am asking politicians to come on down and show that you care about cleaning up the town of Pahrump. If you would like to find out more, you can go to the Pahrump Neighborhood Cleanup Facebook page. I want to thank Home Depot, Pahrump Valley Disposal, and of course P-Town Litter Pickers, who have been such a wonderful group. They have been actually together for a number of years, actually working with another group, and then split off and now have been cleaning up the town on their own. They have some highways that are dedicated to their cleanup efforts, and they also now have been going around cleaning up neighborhoods. And that's one of the reasons why the neighborhood cleanup came together many years ago, being the first group here in town that was organized cleanup efforts. We got together and decided that it would be a great idea if we could get other groups in the neighborhoods to kind of split off and clean up their own neighborhood, and that we would help with the water and vests and gloves and trash bags. So that is one of the things that P-Town Litter Pickers does, and so we are so honored to have them join us for the Pahrump Neighborhood Cleanup, and that is going to be this Saturday, once again, from 8 until 11 a.m. Come on down. The P-Town Litter Pickers actually have an area that they're going to be cleaning up, but you can clean up whatever part of the town that you would like to clean up, and we will have all the supplies there. For more information, you can go to the Pahrump Neighborhood Cleanup Facebook page, and you can, of course, always call me, 775-299-9992. Speaking of politicians, we have one on our show tonight, but he's not only a candidate running for re-election, he's also your Nye County Sheriff. We're going to speak to Joe McGill.
Sponsored by 1-2-Tree, handyman, yard cleanup, yard maintenance, and so much more. Give them a call at 775-253-8066. We will leave you with a smile. Axe Exterminators. Give those pests the axe. Give them a call today for general pest control, rodents, termites, bed bugs, and so much more in Pahrump, Amargosa, Beatty, and surrounding areas. 775-990-2065.
And I'm joined by Nye County Sheriff Joe McGill. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So we are here to talk about your campaign for re-election. How's it going?
It's going very well, I think.
Yeah?
It's so much fun. I wish I could do this every year.
Somehow I don't believe you.
Well,
I always feel for candidates when they have to kind of just run for their job again, reapply for their job again every 4 years usually.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of stressful, right?
It is a little stressful, yeah. Actually, I had my blood pressure taken today, and it was
a
little higher.
Yeah. Well, that's why when I ran for county commissioner, I was trying to decide if I was going to rerun this last time, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to, because it just gets so nasty, and my whole campaign was really based on what can I do for you, and I refused to insult or attack the other candidates.
Well, I am kind of that way too. I haven't been fighting back any and throwing any shots back at the other candidates,
Yeah.
but it seems like I tend to be the target for whatever reason.
Do people like when the candidates do that? Do you think that? Because you hear people saying, I just want to hear what you can do for me. I don't want to hear what is so negative about the other guy. But do people actually like to hear the negative stuff, or do you think they like that drama, or do you think that they don't? Because I can't tell if.
I think that I think that at times the negative needs to come out.
Yeah.
It all depends on what that negative is and whether it's true or not.
Yeah, because people are allowed to just pretty much say anything about anyone now, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, they can pretty much say whatever they want to say, whether it's true or not. I think that some people enjoy the drama of the negative, and then there are the other people who I think would rather just hear about the issues and what are your qualifications and what do you plan to do, what have you done, that type of stuff. So there's a bit of a mix between them.
Because years ago it was so unheard of about saying things that were untrue about another person because in fear that you would be sued, but hardly anybody files lawsuits like that, and so it's kind of like maybe they feel more free to do things like that.
Well, I guess the courts over the years have said that because you're a public figure, you are open to more scrutiny,
Yeah.
and you have to be more thick-skinned and whatever, whatever people want to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you did get a huge endorsement from the Nye County Law Enforcement Association. Tell me about that.
I did. The Nye County Law Enforcement Association is the deputies union. They invited all candidates from all different positions who wanted to attend, and we all showed up in one night. We were all sitting in one big room together and waiting our turn, and went in and basically did a job interview.
Yeah.
The union representatives had some prepared questions, and then you took ad lib questions from the membership. There was probably, I would say, 30 people in the room of the union membership, and I was impressed.
It's something that is very scrutinized by the law enforcement members because that's always been something that everybody has talked about with sheriffs that are running for re-election is if the morale was up within the personnel with staff and law enforcement officers, and that's always been something that's a discussion, right?
It is. It's a point of contention. If you look at last term, 4 years ago, I received the endorsement of the NCLEA, the Nye County Law Enforcement Association, and that was at about 97%. This time it was at 80%, which I'm very proud of, and that 20%, for all I know, maybe 2 people, 3 people, I don't know. But it is a very good barometer as to how the deputies feel about their current boss. Like I said, 4 years ago, I won the endorsement. My predecessor did not, and that spoke very highly to what the morale was on the department.
Yeah.
Now this time, 4 years later, after being in the office for 4 years, I got the endorsement, and I believe that again speaks very highly of how they feel about how we've been doing for the last 4 years.
Because even the deputies were speaking up at the last election time, personally, really speaking out, saying that they were not happy with things.
There was a lot of there was a lot of unhappy people in the sheriff's office 4 years ago. You'll hear from my opponents now that they only endorsed me because they were afraid not to. Well, if that's the case, why did they not endorse her 4 years ago if they were afraid of retaliation? I can tell you that 4 years ago and 8 years ago, retaliation was a real thing around this department, and I firmly believe that being in fear for your job because you speak your mind is gone from our law enforcement agency now.
Yeah. I can 100% vouch for all of what you just said. It really was. People were afraid that they would be retaliated on. They spoke about it.
They were
quite a
afraid.
bit
They were
about
afraid.
it.
And they were rightfully afraid.
Yeah.
Look at the fact that...
And we're not just saying from the sheriff that was running. We're talking about other kind of administrative people that were there.
Correct. Two of my campaign team members 4 years ago were placed on suspension with pay pending investigation, and that turned out to be, as far as we know, the record shortest administrative leave on history in the Nye County Sheriff's Office,
Yeah, what's the name?
which was about 8 hours.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then there were 3 separate occasions that my opponent back then in 2022 tried to file criminal charges on me and sent criminal charges to other advisors, I guess you might say, a sheriff from another county. And that sheriff said, oh no, there was nothing policy violation that Joe did in this case.
Yeah.
So, yes, people were afraid and they were rightfully afraid.
Yeah.
People now, they're afraid of, there is still some fear. I had a meeting with one of our employees a couple weeks ago, and as soon as I left that meeting, that employee received a photograph on his phone of himself and me and my wife and his wife sitting at a table talking together. That photograph was obviously taken through the windshield of a vehicle from the parking lot of the place that we were sitting.
Oh.
So is that an attempted intimidation? I think so. I think it was.
Yeah. Hey, I know. I was running for county commissioner, and I was threatened to be arrested because I was running for county commissioner.
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about there.
Well, look back and look at 2014, was it, when Sharon was running against Tony DeMayo, and Rick Marshall was running then, all right? And Rick got arrested.
Yeah.
And the election prior to that, a candidate that was a highway patrol officer, his child was arrested.
Yeah.
And I think the campaign before that, somebody was arrested.
Well, I always talk about how many man hours it took to actually catch Rick picking up that sign.
Right.
I mean, that's always the thing, because being a person who films things all the time, that you must have put some major man hours on following that man around.
I tell you what, Rick was set up on that, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can tell you who it was, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're not going to name names. Right?
I think you probably know who I'm
I think
talking about.
we know what's going on.
Yep.
But I got to tell you, as far as that endorsement, does that give you some, like, maybe I got some room for improvement? Is there some tips that where you think that they can give you of where, that 20%, maybe you need to look and see if there's some improvement there?
There's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
The day that you stop learning in this job is the day that you need to retire.
Yeah.
Especially as an administrator, because the style in which you deal with individuals has to change from person to person. The way that you handle the money, the way that you handle disciplinary action, you need to take everything into consideration. You need to think sometimes, does this person need to be micromanaged or left alone? Because both are right.
Yeah.
Both are right.
Yeah.
Some people need to be micromanaged. Other people don't. Other people can be set free and say, go do your job and do it right, and they can be trusted.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, as one of the type that is set free and tell me to go do my job, I was under a supervisor many years ago that was a micromanager, and I cannot tell you how stressful that is.
It is stressful.
Yeah.
It is stressful, extremely. You know, I got to tell you, I listen to you guys all the time, and there are some officers that really just that you just listen to them and they just stand out and they are just superior, and I can see why you put a lot of trust in some of them. One of them was arrested at one point and things were dropped and he's back on the force, and I'm telling you, I'm always impressed with him. And I don't know if
And that would be James Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, when you hear that man out of scene, I got to tell you, oh, he blows me away on his investigative
He is
skills.
extremely professional.
Yeah.
He is very good with the community. He's got the gift of gab.
Yeah.
He's got one heck of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's not bad to look at, is he?
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing, is that he was a Marine, right?
Yes, he was.
And so I've seen
Still
him.
is.
Okay. Yeah, Marines are always.
There is no
right?
such thing as a ex-Marine.
Exactly. When I've seen him training the other officers and his behavior and how he is with them, and because when you do the the new recruits and everything, it was so impressive to me to watch him.
He can yell at people and he can talk kindly to people
Yeah.
from one breath to the next.
Yeah. But I listen to him and I'm always impressed because when you hear him, he really knows how to investigate. I mean, like really, like when you're listening to things, and so many other officers as well. But I just picked out one, so don't ever forget. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you today, he received I believe it was a 10-year award at the County Commission.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Just goes to show he's
Yeah.
been around a little bit.
So you've been speaking at different events and of course having meet and greets. Tell me how that's been going.
It's been going really well. I have been very pleased with the turnout, with how many people show up to these things. I can tell you people are very receptive. They're very focused on listening to what I have to say. Very positive. And it's a really good feeling knowing that there are so many people that are in my favor, behind me, on my side. And every day I walk around this town, people say, you and your guys are doing a great job. Thank you for what you do.
What's some of the biggest concerns that you're hearing from the citizens about what that they would like to see with the Sheriff's Office?
Well, one of the biggest things I think that I'm hearing, and I agree with, is the fact that we're understaffed. And we have improved over the last 3.5 years. Not where I would like it to be, but it's not one of those things that you can just snap your fingers and you've hired 25 people. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It takes about a year of training between the academy and field training before that person is out on his or her own. We get about a 50% success rate from the academy and field training. So not everybody is cut out for this job, and I can attest to the fact I don't want to run into a burning building, and firefighters don't want to run toward a gun call. So not everybody's cut out for this.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
It is. As far as they're talking about the police cars, getting new police cars, and using the money that was for the Civic Center. What's going on with that?
Well, that failed today. It failed by a vote of 3-2 against. The thing about that is that our cars are a tool that we have to have, and they are a tool that wears out. We have two cars in our active fleet right now that are over 200,000 miles.
Wow.
We have, I believe it's 6 vehicles in our active fleet that are over 150,000. And we have like 16 that are over 100,000.
Wow.
Cars don't last forever, as you know. It's not like back in the 40s and 50s that you could drive a car and keep it for 10 years.
Yeah.
I do keep my cars for 10 years. I tend to keep them until they're worn out.
Yeah.
But the way that these vehicles are driven, they don't have a 10-year life expectancy on them because they get driven hard. They get driven at high speed. When you're running code 3 with lights and siren, you don't slow down for bumps.
Yeah.
You know, you just take the bumps and you deal with them.
Yeah.
You might be having to take a sedan off-road, hopefully on a trail, but you know how some of the trails are in our desert, so the cars can get beat up. With as many hours as we put on the road, we're going to be involved in accidents.
Well,
there's no avoiding
right?
it. Right, we're spread out.
Yeah.
And so if we have cars that break down or we have cars that get into a crash, we have to have a replacement car for that. Now, if that car, for whatever reason, is totaled, whether from a crash or it's just not cost effective to repair it, again, we got to have something to replace it with. When our spare cars are sitting in the parking lot of our substation, and they're waiting for service for something major. It's summertime, it's 105 degrees outside, and the air conditioning isn't working. Well, that's a problem, and I don't expect my deputies to drive those cars.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have the best maintenance going on our roads because we don't have a lot of money here in our county. Is there another way to get money for these cars?
Well, there is, but it's a Band-Aid on the artery.
Yeah.
We, in the past, we bought used cars from Metro.
Yeah.
That they had mileaged out. They had retired because they had a set mileage that they would drive their cars to, and then they would get rid of them. Well, at that time, that mileage was 50,000 miles. And those vehicles...
Metro is spoiled.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah.
They no longer retire them at 50,000 miles.
Really?
Because I guess it was the county commission said to Metro, hey, wait a minute. If Nye County's willing to drive your cars at 50,000 miles,
Yeah.
why are you not?
Yeah.
And so now I think they're going to 100,000 miles.
Who are they?
So there's not much life left in that car. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about a diesel engine pickup, that's a different story. You can get 300, 400, 500,000 miles out of that thing. But these gas motors and the way that they're driven hard.
Yeah.
They don't last. And so, you know, we could, and I could probably call up the fleet manager at Metro tomorrow and say, I want to buy some of your used cars. And we could probably get them, and we could get them for a decent price. But how long is that going to last?
Yeah. Well, even our surplus vehicles seem to be in really bad shape, the ones that we put up for auction on occasion. I was looking at them, you know, when I passed by the little yard where they're at, and they're not in the best shape at all. A lot of times, we're not getting very much money for those.
I'm going to give you some numbers here on that.
Here he is.
I was talking about this item in the county commission meeting today. According to the road department, who is our fleet manager, we have 209 patrol cars in our fleet. Okay? Well, we actually have 112 active patrol cars, operational.
Oh.
Okay? And that is for all patrol, detectives, detention, administration, training, auxiliary, and spare cars. Now, a few weeks ago, I had a deputy walking down the hallway, and he says, hey, can you get me in a quick key box so I can find a spare car? My radiator blew up.
Yeah.
I said, sure. So I go let him in the key box so he can go out and look for a spare car. And there are no spare cars that aren't in for service.
Oh.
They're waiting for service. And not to take shots at the mechanic shop. because they do a great job.
Yeah.
Okay? But there have been, over the last year, 3 different instances that somebody was out for an extended period of time. 2 were for workers' comp and 1 was for a death in his family. So when you lose 1 of 3 people, you're down 33% of your workforce.
Yeah.
And so the cars were waiting to be repaired. We have 1 car that they have not been able to figure out what's wrong with the electrical system, and the light bar goes out when it just decides to go out.
Oh.
And it's been into the shop multiple times, and we're still waiting for it to get repaired.
Yeah.
They think they fix it, they send it back, it quits again. So that's one example. So here we are. Of the 209 cars, we have 112 in operation. 56 of those cars are over 100,000 miles.
Wow.
23 are over 150,000. 11 are over 200,000 miles. 2 are over 250,000 miles. Okay? So they told us that we have 209 cars, right? And I said we have 112, right? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's true. Because 76 of them were just sent to the scrap yards about a month ago.
Yeah.
But they're still on our books, so the county commission thinks that we have another 76 cars than we do.
And can we auction those for a decent amount? Because I know that some of the things aren't even, they don't go up for auction very well.
A lot of them, there are a lot of people who, you see them all the time out here in this valley, people that are driving old police cars.
Yeah.
It's kind of a club.
Yeah, I know that. I know
Or a
what you're
couple of clubs that, they like buying old police Crown Victorias. And, okay, I like those cars, but not that much. But you can't get much money for them because oftentimes there's damage to them.
Yeah.
There's paint damage all the time. If you've got 100,000 miles on it, there's going to be some paint damage. There's going to be a little bit of body damage. So some of our cars are going to auction or scrap because they're just not cost effective to replace them or to repair them. Engine damage, blown engine, blown transmission, got into a wreck and 2/3 of the car has got mangled metal, things like that.
Wow.
So a lot of the cars that were retired of those 76, a lot of them went to scrap.
And then as far as the pay for deputies, I know it's hard to get deputies to stay out here and we even have officers that work at Metro and they live out here because they like it out here, but Metro pays more money. Is there any kind of pay increase coming up? Or?
Well, our deputies received a raise in 2025, and it was a pretty significant raise. So it helped us in retention, in keeping people, and actually recruiting. We've had people come here that probably wouldn't have come here to work if it hadn't been for that raise.
Yeah.
But there is still a long ways to go. There's no hope of us ever keeping up with what the deputy or the officers make in Vegas. And you're talking lifestyle too. It's a different lifestyle out here. Or you're talking about the fact that the deputy's wife works in a casino there.
Yeah.
And she's got such a good job, she's not going to leave it. Maybe she works at a hospital in Vegas and doesn't want to come out here to work, and so they don't move out here.
Yeah, it's the same problems that we have with the doctors, keeping doctors out here.
Yeah.
And they have a hard time, because we it's a different lifestyle.
It is. It's a different lifestyle. You don't have a Kohl's to go shopping at for clothes. You have to drive 45 minutes into Vegas or more.
Literally, the doctors have told me that it was their wives. I've had a couple doctors tell me it was their wives because they had nowhere to shop and do things and everything out here. And so the doctors are like, that's why they have a lot of them that come over like 1 or 2 days a week and stuff.
Yeah.
And
well, see, I look at it like this. If my wife ain't happy, I'm going to be unhappy with half my stuff.
Exactly. Luckily,
So-
your wife likes the rural area.
She does
here
like
and
the rural
the
area.
horses
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
So what's going on? Because I know that one of the big issues people talk about with the sheriff's office budget, are things going well with that? What's going on with that?
Things are dicey.
Yeah.
I just found out today that as a result of I'm hoping an error, maybe it wasn't an error,
Yeah.
that our jail is $8 million in the red because it wasn't funded properly at the last fiscal year.
Are we still? We're not. We lost that ICE contract, right?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was.
Got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Okay. And then, are we still having inmates up in Tonopah and stuff?
We have short-term inmates in Tonopah. They don't spend more than tops 24 hours there.
Oh, okay. And then, so what's going to go on with the shortfall there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're going to be taking a budget cut is coming up in a few weeks.
Oh, okay. And so.
The word was very dismal today at the county commission meeting, trust me.
Oh, was it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't get to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Got to watch that one.
Mm-hmm.
So what other things, what's some of the things that you're really proud of that you've done during your last term, and what you would like to do if you're reelected?
Well, first of all, when I decided to run back in 2022, I decided there were two of the main reasons why I wanted to run. One was to reinstill the pride of the sheriff's department from the community. Another one was I wanted to reinstill the pride in working for the sheriff's office of Nye County. And I think that we have made great strides in both of those. It has been long said that the Nye County Sheriff's Office is less than. People didn't respect the sheriff's office here because of the real or perceived corruption in the sheriff's office. And we have gotten past that. People haven't completely forgotten about it, and we're still fighting both of those, but we've made great strides in improving. The community is very, very proud and very happy with the services that our sheriff's office is providing as long as we can. Now, there are times, that we can't provide this service, or we can't provide this service in what somebody would consider a timely manner. There are times that calls have to hold, but people have to understand that when you come home and you find that your house has been broken into, and you walk through the house and you know that there's nobody there, and now you call dispatch and say, my house has been broken into, that's not as high a priority call as I came home and I found my front door open and I was afraid to go in because I heard a noise inside.
Yeah.
Because there might be a suspect inside. In-progress calls.
Priority.
Calls where people are in danger, calls when people have been injured, domestics, things like that. Those take higher priority. And every law enforcement agency in the world does this.
It's 100% true. I mean, that's just how it is.
You have
to prioritize the calls,
Yeah.
Not who made the phone call first,
Right.
but what's in progress.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do that, we'd all be in trouble,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So where are you going to be at next, and how can people find out about more?
Well, let's see. I have a meet and greet coming up at the Coyote Den, and I believe it's on the 25th, if you can help me remember. I can look at my calendar. I think it's on the 25th, and it's from 2 to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And then let's see. I would have to look at my calendar.
All right.
The best way to know what's going on and what's happening and what's coming up, watch my Facebook page. We put out flyers all over the place.
Then he's got this reelect
Joe McGill.
And that's on your Facebook page.
That's
right?
on my Facebook page.
And then you have
Cops for Joe.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that's back now, right?
That is back. That came up in 2022. And what that was a support that was started out by the deputies, and they gathered together and they created this PAC, Political Action Committee.
Yeah.
And it was to support my being a candidate, and they were very strong and they were very verbal. And if you remember, there was a rally at the corner of 372 and 160 one time, and there was well over 100 people there.
Yeah.
A lot of them wearing Cops for Joe T-shirts and carrying the signs, and you'll see the signs out on the sides of the street now. As a result of the endorsement from the deputy union, they decided to start that up again, and I'm very appreciative. It shows their support.
And you also have a different support system for the Nye County Sheriff's Office that I believe Tammy Engel started, which was to kind of raise funds for the Sheriff's Office, right?
Yes, that is the Friends of Nye County Sheriff's Office. That's a 501c3 that my assistant created. And what it is so that we can, up until that was created, if somebody came into our front office and said, I've got a check for $1,000 that I want to go to shop with a cop, we had to take that check and deposit it through the county into the general fund.
Yeah.
And then we weren't guaranteed of getting that $1,000 back to use for shop with a cop.
Yeah.
Now, it goes into the 501c3's account. It stays in her control. And that way we know that we're getting our bang for the buck.
And that is something that I see a lot of law enforcement officers, agencies do, where they have the support system to support them. And what a great idea. And you guys had some fundraisers recently. I think at Artesian Cellars they had a fundraiser for that group as well.
We did. It was a couple of months ago. It was actually kind of the debut of the Friends of Nye County Sheriff's Office. And I think that they collected over $3,000.
Yeah.
It was a great event. People were very generous. And that way, you know, our shop with a cop, or the times that we had a elementary school class come to our office last week.
Yeah.
And we bought them Little Caesars pizzas, and we took them over to the training center to show them how SWAT works and things like that. Goes to pay for that. Our turkeys for Thanksgiving goes to pay for that. We do probably, I would say, 10 events throughout the year for different reasons, different groups and organizations, and it helps us offset that cost.
And does that have a Facebook page as well?
I don't know that she has started up a Facebook page yet.
She should get that going. All right.
She should.
If you want to find out more about Sheriff Joe McGill's re-election campaign, go to
Re-elect Joe McGill for Nye County Sheriff.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to Sheriff Joe McGill for coming on the show tonight. Right now we're going to go to your Save a Pet with the Nye County Animal Shelter.
Sponsored by Want to Tree, handyman, yard cleanup, yard maintenance, and so much more. Give them a call at 775-253-8066. We will leave you with a smile.
Hi, I'm Christy Sigmund, and I'm here at the Nye County Animal Shelter with Robbie. As you can see, Robbie may be a medium-sized guy, but he thinks he's not. He thinks he's about 10 pounds and can sit on your lap. He loves to go for walks. He's actually a really great walker. He loves his treats. He is very food motivated. He is a wonderful boy that you can just go and roam around with. He's got lots of energy, but he also loves to snuggle. So if you'd like to come and meet Robbie and all of his crazy antics, visit us down at the Animal Shelter, 1580 East Seary Lane. Give us a call at 775-751-7020. You can also visit 24petconnect.com to see all of our adoptable pets. You got his nose. So for the month of April, we have all of our adoption fees waived due to a sponsorship with a wonderful citizen. And then we continue the fun and we roll into May with our Bissell Empty the Shelter event. So come and visit us today.
Thanks again, and if you want to find out more, of course, contact the Nye County Animal Shelter, and you can go, of course, to the 24petconnect.com if you've lost an animal or found an animal. That's going to wrap up this edition of Unchained here on Pahrump News. I'm your host, Deanna O'Donnell. Good night.
Axe Exterminators. Give those pests the axe. Give them a call today for general pest control, rodents, termites, bed bugs, and so much more in Pahrump, Amargosa, Beatty, and surrounding areas. 775-990-2065.